I tweeted yesterday. Some people got mad at me.
Why?
I don't know. They can't take a joke. Take a joke.
Snowflakes.
Take a joke, man.
Snowflakes. What was the tweet?
It was stupid. It was a Taylor Swift meme. It was a Taylor Swift Selena Gomez meme. It cost me.
What was the words?
No, really. All 34.
Oh, okay. That got him upset?
Yeah. Riled up.
Well, listen.
Riled up.
Just all of this can be avoided if you just pay the porn star yourself. If he just paid her with his money, none of this comes.
We had
just directly.
Two
just pay her
decisive wins yesterday.
What's a win? Is that a win? What's the other win? No.
The Mavs.
Oh. Okay.
Decisive.
Okay.
No questions.
All right. Well, everybody can agree that the Mavs won. I'm not sure everybody can agree that Trump getting those charges is a win.
No, it's a loss.
Okay.
I would say
Depends on which side you're on.
Flip score, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the score's 34-0. 0 to 34, whichever way you shake it. Like, numbers are numbers. I know we talked about stats yesterday.
That's Auburn, East Carolina numbers.
Yeah.
Yo, you didn't tell me yesterday.
That's Alabama Citadel numbers.
You didn't tell me yesterday you can start your dynasty as coordinator.
Yeah.
You're
in.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my eyes rolled in the back of my head and my toes curled when I heard that. I can't wait. Can't wait to take, I don't know who. Fresno State's defense? Who's the worst defense in college football? I can't wait to get on that staff and do some impressive things and move on to some better job. Is it USC's? Is USC's defense terrible?
I was just going to look up.
Okay.
I mean, we were close to the bottom last season. I don't think we ended dead last.
Can I start as DC at USC and then
North
get the hit?
Texas.
There we go. Well,
North Texas,
now North Texas is a
Stanford,
possibility.
Vanderbilt, Colorado.
Hey, real quick, what was the song?
Oh, I had back-to-back Kanye. City of Gods, Alicia Keys, Kanye West. Fivio Foreign? Fivio Foreign? Fivio. Thanks, Heather Jacob. It is Friday, May 31st. Going to be a good day, the last day of May. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the Dallas Mavericks are on to the NBA Finals after annihilating the Minnesota Timberwolves in their building last night. Lang Whitaker will join us about 20 minutes in. We'll talk about that with him, talk about the finals matchup between the Mavs and the Celtics, and also some college football news from throughout the week. We got a big weekend in the WNBA coming up. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, the Pro Edition. We'll talk about that along with some other stories from the sports universe, and then we'll end with a little Music Friday. Meg the Stallion was here in Memphis last night with GloRilla. New Eminem name drops, and we're doing jelly bean eating. Bottoms up. There's new Paris Hilton music coming. It's a Friday. We'll have some fun in spite of it all. Cowabunga? Cowabunga. That's disgusting.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. That's why we're looking for team members to help us reshape the steel industry for a more sustainable tomorrow. Our edge starts with you at www.bigriversteel.com/join to join our team. That's www.bigriversteel.com/join to join our team.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God, Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I'm so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him. Yeah. Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 Crispy Tender Wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Watching Tiger Woods play golf is a lot like going on a vacation with your kids. You want to do it. You think you're going to have a great time. You think you think you're going to enjoy it, and then you get right in the middle of it, and you go, "Man, this is not as much fun as I thought it was going to be. This is making me sad." You always think it's going to be great.
Yeah,
sometimes it is, but
I haven't.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Everybody knows what I mean.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Grizz Girls are no ordinary dance team. They're known across the NBA for setting the standard for world-class dance and entertainment. From hip-hop to jazz, the Grizz Girls do it all. And they're looking for talented dancers with dynamic personalities to join the team. Do you have what it takes to join a premier NBA dance team and entertain Grizz Nation both on the court and in the community? Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information and show us what you've got at open auditions Saturday, July 13th.
For the sunshine, gotta own a day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this feeling. This is my day. The sun's out, ay, let's have a little fun now. Ay, I wanna let it all out. Ay, that's what it's all about. Ay, ay, 'cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this feeling. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Happy Friday, everybody. We made it to the end of the week. In case you missed our jelly bean situation, we've been making picks throughout the last week. For every pick we get wrong, we have to eat a jelly bean. Maybe the jelly bean tastes like trash. Maybe it's a normal jelly bean. Maybe it's a spicy jelly bean. And hence the beginning of the show, anytime we hear the ominous music, CJ and I have to pay for our crimes of making bad picks, of which I had
But
many.
this is the music.
Thank you. You found a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, for everyone who was at the Meg the Stallion GloRilla concert last night at FedEx Forum, I'm so happy for you, but I also hate you, which means I hate CJ. CJ,
What?
how was it?
It was great. It was incredible. It's been a while since I've seen FedEx Forum that packed.
Oh, it looked so fun.
From floor to the ceiling, and it was just so much energy. I don't think I hadn't been to a whole bunch of shows in FedEx Forum. I just started going to the shows recently at FedEx Forum. I don't think I've ever seen it that full for a show. Seen it that full for a Grizzlies game, but not for a show. And
fun.
just it felt very much like you were just at a party with two friends who were performing up on stage. They both took time out of songs to sign autographs. They took pictures with people's phones. Please, please, please. After being at one of these shows, I see what happens. The artist leans over and grabs phones from people up close and starts taking pictures. You're 3 or 4 rows back. The artist isn't going to be able to reach you, so you just start throwing your phone up there. At one point, Megan Thee Stallion stopped it, was like, hey, stop throwing phones up here. And it's odd because Megan is not old, but in a very black auntie sort of way. She was like, hey, commanded the crowd. Like the crowd command from both artists, impeccable. But like, hey, stop throwing phones up here. But it was great to see. At one point, everybody had their phones up lit. And I know what the ambiance and vibe is supposed to be when we get our phones out and do that. It was the first time I actually felt it though. It was because it was thousands of phones lit up. Like it all of the flashlights lit up the forum. I thought they had turned a brighter light on. That's how many flashlight phone lights there were. They did the hits that I came to see. You know, I came to see Captain Hook. I came to see Freak Nasty. I came to see Yeah Glow. Like I came to see all their they did all of those and then some, and the whole time it was a giant sing-along dance party. And I knew it was, again, not just FedEx Forum, but downtown. It had been a while since I've been coming into downtown, and I come off of Lamar and I come down MLK. and it's been a while since I've seen traffic backed up significantly. And I got just past Southwest Community College on MLK, and boom, traffic. And not just traffic, people hanging out of their windows with their ratchet-ass friends, shaking ass, which is always enjoyable.
As you should.
I like that. It was just good. It was like, okay, try not to hit me while y'all are turning up, but absolutely turn up, have fun. It was a whole lot of fun. Shout out to Kieran, went with her. We had a blast. It was a blast. Those are two of my favorite artists out right now.
The fits were fitting. Like the way people were dressed up for that show was everything.
And it was a wide variety of people dressed up. Like it was, of course, you're gonna have the super mini skirts with the lower booty cheek out, of course, but then you have the full body suits. Then you've got people walking around with fairy wings. You got people dressed up as anime characters, like Sailor Moon Guardian type things. Like it was like everybody there was beautiful, and they were beautiful in their own unique way. And I think that type of positivity comes out in Megan's songs a lot.
Yeah, because everyone's on their hot girl ass.
Yeah, hey, anybody can be a hot girl.
Exactly.
Anybody. I can't.
Now, to be as hot as Meg the Stallion, I feel like I need to start doing like 300 squats. Because all the videos I saw, woo! No one inspired. I think in the modern, like, body yada yada universe, nobody inspires me to completely commit to leg day every day quite like Meg the Stallion. When I saw her a couple years ago, it was the same thing. She looks incredible. This is not in an objectifying way. This is just in a factual, oh my God. She has top Mount Rushmore behind.
And the things that they do on stage.
Yes.
Well, we can, if we're doing this right now.
We can talk more if we want.
Do we want to talk? But can we talk more then? Later?
Yeah, we'll talk more booty later.
People want to hear about...
the most important news in the world yesterday? The biggest story in the United States of America? You know what it was. The Dallas Mavericks.
All right.
Oh my God. Oh no, I was on fire in my mouth.
Swallow it.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh God. I like hot sauce. I don't like it. I like hot sauce. I don't like it in jelly
You
form.
better get you some water.
Okay. Woo.
Was that the Carolina Reaper?
I think so. Oh my God.
So here are the flavors for the spicy. And you almost got it right. It should be habanero and Carolina Reaper. Those are the two spicy flavors that we grabbed.
That's either Carolina Reaper
or habanero.
I don't know. That felt a little habanero. Unfortunately, it does have an aftertaste, and my tongue is burning.
So those are the hot flavors.
All right.
The other flavors you could get. You get liver and onion or cappuccino.
If I get liver and onion, I might vomit on this table.
Well, you can get Old Bandage or pomegranate, rotten egg, buttered popcorn, stink bug, or toasted marshmallow, barf or peach, dirty dishwater birthday cake, booger juicy pear, toothpaste berry blue, stinky socks tutti frutti, dead fish, or strawberry banana smoothie.
Can't wait.
And so I've been lucky. I've gotten two regular flavors. Not sure what they are, but they hadn't been gross yet.
That was also the face that I just made eating the habanero or Carolina Reaper jelly bean is also the face that I was making watching the first half of Mavs Timberwolves last night because it was stinky, stanky, grody, Odie. Mavs beat the Timberwolves 124-103. They are on to the NBA Finals where they will face the Boston Celtics. We in Minnesota now for good because the Minnesota Timberwolves will not be returning to Dallas for a Game 6. I don't know how Micah Parsons will survive without being able to get a new pair of the Anthony Edwards signature sneaker that Ant promised him when they would be coming back for a Game 6. I don't know why he was going to make that promise if the Timberwolves just weren't going to show up. Just weren't going to show up in the first half of the game. It was nasty. They trailed by as many as 36 in the game. They were down 16 by the end of the first quarter. I fired up my Game Boy Advance because there's a new app where you can download a Game Boy or Game Boy Advance onto your phone, and then you can download all of your old favorite games. And so as Luka was firing off shot after shot, I was like, I'm going to play Super Mario Brothers 3 while I watch this game because frankly the Timberwolves are wasting my time. And if you were watching live, the Inside the NBA crew summed it up going into the halftime show in which they pretty much crucified the Timberwolves along the way. And you expect it from, like, Charles Barkley, of course, is going to talk about how embarrassing it is and how there was no sense of urgency. But my favorite was the lead-in where Ernie Johnson says that the Mavs opened up a can and Kenny was like, a can of what, Ernie? And he was like, a can of whoop ass in this building. And that is exactly what the Mavs imparted upon the Timberwolves. It was a game that was never in question. It was a game that you did not need to watch the entirety of it because, yes, sure, the Timberwolves could have attempted to have the largest comeback in a playoff game's history. But when that third quarter opened with the Luka Doncic alley-oop to PJ Washington, you thought to yourself, nope, there is just no way in hell that they are coming back in this one.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't watch. I was at the concert.
I know, congrats.
I said, okay, when I got home, let me sit down. I had it recorded. Let me sit down and watch the first quarter and a half. But before I do, let me know what the score is before I commit to doing this, because I count this as work, right? Sometimes work feels like work, and watching Mavs Timberwolves after that experience felt like work. And when I saw what the score was, like, no, I'm not watching this. Best I can do for you is box score hunt. What happened to
I can tell you exactly what happened.
Well, what happened to the bench for the Timberwolves?
Great question.
Nobody played well, and you wouldn't think that Naz Reid has been one of the most reliable players are you okay?
No.
In the playoffs for the Timberwolves, one of the more reliable players off the bench in the playoffs. He's sixth man of the year. And from a stat standpoint, just looking at the box score, 7 points. Mm-hmm. Nothing really significant from a rebound and a playmaking standpoint. What happened there?
Nothing. The answer is nothing.
Okay.
The Timberwolves got nothing from their role players. And even like a
Jaden
McDaniels, who really struggled, not just defensively, because he showed that he could not handle Luka Doncic, and then you're putting Anthony Edwards on Luka, and that's expending more energy from Ant. But then last night you had more Kyle Anderson, and then Kyle Anderson has to be on the court a little bit longer. And no matter how smart and vet-heady Kyle Anderson is, he's an offensive threat of a zero because it takes him 84 years to get into his shot still. And on the flip side, you had, a PJ Washington continuing to be solid, especially yesterday, coming back, getting his shot back. You had your favorite, Derek Lively, back for the Mavericks, who was never in concussion protocol. I don't put it in quotes. He was actually never in concussion protocol. He hit the deck hard again yesterday, and I was like, hope he's okay. He's fine. He went 16-16 in the entirety of this series. Did not miss a single shot. He is a rookie. That is incredible. But outside of the role players, yesterday was just indicative of why this series went the way that it did, and that is because Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving were the two best players on the court consistently. And for Luka last night, who had 20 points in the first quarter, he pulls up from just inside a logo three. He had a little turnaround three where there was inexplicably nobody around him. He outscored the Timberwolves by himself in that first quarter, between him and Kyrie waxing and waning all over the place, and Luka talking mess with a fan. No, it was not Snoop, even though Snoop is right there in the front, and a lot of people say, ooh, is Luka yelling at Snoop? Boots on the ground reporting says that it was a fan behind Snoop, but Snoop gets caught in the crossfire, and if you are a fan still trying to egg on Luka Doncic at this point in your life, you have not been paying attention. I cannot help you. You are making the same mistake time and time and time again. It reminded me a lot of last year's Game 7 between the Mavs and the Suns, where Luka just was in full closeout mode. He was like, I'm going to get this done. In that case, it was a Game 7. Last night, it's a closeout game, situates themselves into the NBA Finals. I think he had like 27 points in the first half of that Game 7 last year. And then last night, those 20 in the first quarter set the tone. And between him and Kyrie, they both end up with 36 in the game. And they are the first duo to each score 36 points in an NBA playoff game since Kobe and Shaq. Like, that's been a long time. And it is the reason why you have people pontificating, like, is this the best backcourt that we've ever seen? And we can pump the brakes. We don't have to go that far. You hear it throughout the broadcast during the game, so it continues to be a narrative. But the way that those two have played together have provided the Mavs with certainly enough juice to find their ways into the finals. And you have all the storylines. You get Kyrie going back to Boston, Kyrie back in the finals for the first time in 7 years. You have Luka in the finals for the first time. Bring the Luka energy and agitator mode. Bring Kyrie with the sage and the double birds and the stomping on the logo. And I think it sets up a really fun Game 1.
Let's let people do things before we start proclaiming them in best of insert here.
I agree.
But they are a real formidable backcourt for a lot of different reasons. one of them is just Luka's sheer size. Luka is not a small backcourt guard. Luka is
beefy,
big and tall. Luka's got the length and the thickness, and not a lot of dudes playing a guard or on the perimeter have both of those. So that's a part of it. I think that Kyrie's ability to continuously be one of the best finishers at the rim and have some of the most incredible handles we've seen from a point guard. I think that's another part of the reason why they look as good as they look. Also, give both of them credit. Both of them have deferred at times and in key moments to the other one, and they're willing to do it.
Yes.
Like there are times in games where somebody throws the ball in the backcourt, throws it to Kyrie. Kyrie gives it back to him and says, no, go that way. Take it to Luka. And Luka does the same sort of thing. Kyrie, for some of these series, some of these games, Luka's been early. Kyrie has been late. The willingness of Kyrie to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to set everybody up early, including you, Luka. And then the willingness for Luka, who's got the hot hand, to say, all right, fourth quarter, get out the way. It's Kyrie's time. Like you don't get that often. What ended up doing Shaq and Kobe in was Kobe refusing to defer to Shaq. And Shaq being like, well, if you're not going to defer, bleep them. And then they blow the whole thing up. You need somebody. You can't do it all on your own. Nobody has won a championship I had to think about that Cavs team. Nobody has won a championship all on their own. You need a legitimate, high-level, elite running mate. You have that in Kyrie and Luka, and it doesn't feel like we're doing whose team is this? Is this more Kyrie's team? Is this more Luka's team? And we're not doing that because they're not doing it and because they are winning and they are successful. What do you think about
They've gone so out of their way to be like buddy cop territory too, which has been fun to see.
What do you think about the season for the Timberwolves?
I think it's anytime someone reaches the conference finals, that's big, right? Like, it's not as if the Minnesota Timberwolves are a flailing team. Now, they have some serious financial discussions and decisions to be made, and even with whoever is going to be in the position to make those financial decisions with everything that's going on in their ownership group, that's how it feels. When you look at the books for the Minnesota Timberwolves, it plays ominous music, and I can't. I'm sorry. No, I cannot. That is one of the grossest things I've ever tasted. I'm not. I take it back. I take it back. Can you swallow a jelly bean whole?
No, you have to. Oh my gosh. You have to chew it. Oh
my God, I can't.
Milk. No, you have to. You have to.
It's so gross. Okay.
I'm gonna have.
For the
I should have
Timberwolves.
got some damn Tums.
Yeah, my stomach's gonna hurt by the end of the day. Woo! For the Timberwolves, they've got Ant locked up. Don't feel as if they're gonna move on from Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. I think we once again are circling the wagons of what happens to Karl Anthony Towns. Are they able to find a trade partner that alleviates some of the financial burden that having all three of those guys on one roster? What was your question? Do you ask how he did last night?
How did he look? I know how he did.
Not good enough. Not good enough. You talk about the fact that Luka and Kyrie have the opportunity to defer to one another. They make that active choice, but a part of it is because they have the choice. Even though Karl Anthony Towns had a big game 4 and a necessary game 4, you don't get that same level of confidence of a 1-2 punch of Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. You just don't. And this postseason has continued to solidify that. I think I sucked some of the spice off. Yeah. We'll take a quick break. We're going to get some water. CJ might get some milk. Lang Whitaker will join us on the other side. We'll talk to him about what he thinks of the finals matchup between the Mavs and the Celtics, what it means for the Minnesota Timberwolves going forward, if he learned anything that he would like the Grizzlies to do, particularly this offseason, based on how the postseason's gone thus far, and some college football news. All that and more with Lang after a quick break.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking.
like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God, Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I'm so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
If you look at it as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
36.5 vertical?
Watch your head.
Yeah, you said it was 44.
You sure I said that?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's all barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Marge Simpson?
Come on, Bennett. You'd hook up with Marge Simpson?
Yeah. You ever see the ones with her hair, she lets her hair down?
You're attracted to Marge Simpson.
Marge is cute.
Cute?
Legacy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I respect her.
Yeah.
But she ain't Jessica Rabbit.
No, she's not Jessica Rabbit. She's not Jessica Rabbit. No.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yes.
What's
CJ?
up?
Lang is here. Hey, Lang.
What's
How
up?
many of those do you have left?
Oh, I have 5 because
Jacob,
I had a rough week.
Do we have our records? So the hot ones, so here we go. So the hot ones
Are the locks,
are for the locks.
which I went 1 and 4.
So Jessica has, and I went, so I got another hot one.
Do you know which ones are which?
No.
I do. These 2 are hot ones.
How do you
and
know?
These 3 are just gross because I remember when CJ put them down. So one of these is a Carolina Reaper
Yep.
and one of these is a habanero. And I've tried both of them and they both are absolutely horrendous.
So it's fortuitous I'm here today because on Monday I actually played the jelly bean game with a couple of 11-year-olds, my son and his friend.
It's who they're meant to be played for.
And
CJ
they had
I
like
are just old.
they had like the spinner. It's like a
Okay.
spinner and it ends on a color and then you don't know if you're getting you pick the color but you don't know if you're getting the good flavor or the bad flavor.
Yeah.
I got the blue one. It was either something or toothpaste.
Please God, let this
It
blue
was
one
toothpaste.
be toothpaste.
Yeah, it was toothpaste.
Well, the other one,
Which wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's toothpaste.
The blue ones are fine because it's toothpaste or like blue raspberry.
Oh, I should have taken more blue ones.
Or something like that. No, it's random. So yeah. So the brown ones
Yeah, those are the
are
ones we did.
Yeah,
Except I'm pretty certain like 95% of them are just the bad flavor ones. Like there's very few good flavor ones in there. Like they stack it.
I seem to remember when this I don't know if they were a thing before this, but they really got popular with the Burt's Every Flavored beans from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
and I remember getting those as a kid. And even the really bad tasting ones, I don't remember them being so disgusting. These that I've eaten so far have been horrendous.
Yeah.
Like they've really upped their game. They smell like stinky feet. When CJ opened the bag, it smelled disgusting.
There's one that's like stinky milk flavor. That's pretty bad.
We don't have that. We don't have the sour milk. We have rotten eggs though. We have rotten egg socks and Band-Aids.
Yeah, we had bandages in the ones that we had there.
Bandages? What is a dirty band? Like a bloody Band-Aid?
Yeah, like a used bandage.
Ew, why? Who thinks of these?
I don't know.
These masochists. Between the people who listen to true crime podcasts and the people who create these specifically flavored jelly beans, like they should be on a watch list. But alas.
They probably are.
There we go. As we set up another jelly bean on our
Which one's
continued,
that one?
I don't know. It's speckled. It's pink and speckled.
It looks like Tutti Frutti, maybe?
Tutti Frutti or Bandage.
Or Bandage.
Bandage,
Wonderful.
Cheers.
Are you excited
What's a
for
bandage taste like?
Mavs Celtics?
Can you tell
After I'll tell you. You tell me if you're excited for Mavs Celtics, and then I'll tell you
whatever.
what a bandage tastes like.
I mean, I guess it's a good chance for. I don't even
Tutti Frutti.
talk. I'm just talking. Oh, she made it. Yeah, I guess it's fine. I think there was more interest. I guess the Kyrie back to Boston is the big storyline we're all gonna push here. But like, I'm kind of like, like I don't really care.
You don't care? You're
No.
not all in on the Kyrie Irving redemption story that
No.
everybody's pushing at the moment?
That is a weird story because it's like everyone now is like, wow, look, Kyrie, he's better now. But I mean, he still did a lot of bad things.
Correct.
The last few years, and it's like, it's not. He didn't do those things. They were like, oh well, he grew up, and they're like, I think it was Charles Barkley who was like, no, he was older when he did these things. Like it's, I don't know. I mean, he's playing great, and at the end of the day, like that's what people are going to care about.
Right.
Right. Like
Every time I talk to somebody who has actually spent time around Kyrie, they are fawning's not the right word, but they're very appreciative of like how thoughtful he is and how kind he is to work with. And so by no means do I want, like, I'm not doing this as a character indictment, but like you said, there were legitimate reasons why backs were turned on Kyrie Irving a few years ago. And if anything, I think it's remarkable that there was at least some level of understanding for him. I don't know what his thoughts are right now, but that's the point. Right? Like he doesn't say
he
everything.
stopped telling us his thoughts. Yeah.
Yes, and he came back and like by no means, I have never been on the side of shut up and dribble. That's not what this is. But I think he realized how important basketball was to him, and he's still so damn good at it.
That's the
and you
thing.
watch him out there, and I think he realized that for him, if he wanted to get back to this point where we were talking about how he has one of the best handles we've ever seen, he's a magician on the court, the way he carves everyone up, the way he can finish with the left hand, he needed to move into a space where he wasn't sharing as much as he was during that specific time. But it's not like he didn't go through an injury or an illness. Like it was all very self-inflicted. And now it is fun to see him perform like this because it's fun to watch Kyrie Irving play basketball.
Without
That's
the
the bottom
context
line.
of knowing that he has some
Sure.
problematic thoughts.
Sure.
I mean, look, part of the issue now, right, is that like every player in the NBA has a podcast. Every role player in the NBA has a podcast. Guys who don't play in the NBA have podcasts. Guys who used to play in the NBA have podcasts. And they tell us everything they're thinking.
Yes.
For better or for worse. It's funny that Kyrie's the one who doesn't have a podcast of all the people who can't stop sharing what they feel and what they think.
But he has stopped sharing. And I think that's
I
the
mean, that's
maturation.
part of the reason. Yeah, the maturation
maybe.
is just like, man, just shut up. Like people don't like you because you're saying things that are problematic. Like that's a big part of it. And I think he realized, like, all right, maybe he didn't realize it. Maybe this just happened this way. Maybe it's organic. But for whatever reason, he has stopped saying things that are problematic and just playing basketball. And people are like, oh wow, this dude can really play. He's great. I saw someone today was like, or a headline yesterday on ESPN maybe was like, oh, is this going to be the redemption for Kyrie? Is this, this is what he needed? And I was like, the dude like won the finals basically for the Cavs. Like he was great. Like he's done amazing things in his career. But I think for at least for right now, like everyone's kind of focused on the basketball part, and it's kind of fun to watch.
It was a different time. It was, and Kyrie took the goofy ass stance he took, like, yo, I'm not getting vaccinated, which okay, fine. And in New York you couldn't play, and in Toronto you couldn't play, and so he couldn't play for Brook. That's why that thing went south. Harden
It was
dealing
that
with
and doubling
injuries.
down on the
Yeah,
anti-Semitic
and anti-Semitism thing is the other
can,
part.
Can I set that all the way up? I'm getting to it. I know about the anti-Semitic video, which would not have popped off the way that it did had he been playing. We were already upset at Kyrie as a collective, a fair majority of us, because of the things he was saying about the vaccine mandate. We're already upset about that. And then you throw into it that the anti-Semitic video, which he simply threw up the tweet, right, with the link to the video. And then it was, okay, Kyrie, like, this video is clearly anti-Semitic, back off a little bit. And he refused to do so. And not playing, coupled with those two things, leads to, like, people like, oh, can Kyrie even hoop anymore? Like, we changed our opinions of Kyrie. We also changed them about other athletes, but they were able to play. And as long as you're playing, that's what matters the most. As long as Aaron Rodgers goes out there on that football field and throws the football, that is all we care about. We don't particularly care about their thoughts and their views and their opinions as long as they're entertaining us.
I think we've moved
Don't forget
into,
he said the Earth is flat.
I was
going to
say the first part of it was
that set the baseline for everything.
It was that he's not against anyone that thinks that the Earth is flat. But yes, that was
like 5 years before the.
But it was a compounding of there was that baseline once all of the other stuff happened. And so like then when you're talking about things related to science, then people are going to always go back on, well, this is the same dude who said that the Earth was flat, and then it adds another layer. But I do think we have moved into a part, because even if Aaron Rodgers had continued to play last season, if he hadn't torn his Achilles, Aaron Rodgers' thoughts and his inability to stop talking about problematic content and going on a variety of shows, like, the attention to that wasn't going to go away. And he's kind of like fed on it, right? It's fueled him. It's turned him into this character of sorts. And on the flip side, I think it actually it's a perfect example, because it's two people who went in opposite ways of the either increasing how much they were going to make their persona about those views or not. And here we are talking about Kyrie Irving being like, oh my God, I can't wait for him to burn sage and flip birds in TD Arena.
I should have used a different color athlete, because white athletes can do that, right? Where they can lean into it and get away with it more so than black athletes.
Aaron Rodgers
I don't know.
getting away with
okay,
it.
Tom Brady got away with it, right? Tom Brady did basically what Kyrie did with the Trump hat, right? The Trump hat was in the locker, and we just zoomed straight by it. Kyrie throws a tweet up. We didn't zoom by it. We started asking him questions about it. If we started pressing Tom Brady at that time on why the Trump hat was in the locker, maybe we would have gotten some type of...
Yeah, but Tom Brady also didn't miss a season for refusing to get a vaccine.
That goes back to playing, right? Once you start playing, that is all we care about. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I don't really lean towards the Trump side of politics, right? I love me some Tom Brady, though. Why do I care that he... No. I don't. Whatever you do politically, if you're a famous person, you got it. Knock yourself out.
What about his cheating?
Don't care.
All right.
Don't care. Championships is all that matter, Lang. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, and they not the only ones cheating, baby.
Right. If Harrison Butker is Justin Tucker, do we have a different response to Harrison Butker?
That's a Dr. Seuss bar.
It is.
Wait, isn't he a good kicker?
Harrison Butker? Yeah, but he's not.
And so
but
is
he's
Tucker.
not.
Tucker's good.
Tucker's
like
great.
the GOAT.
Yeah.
I would say Tucker's the current Tom Brady of
He's
kickers.
not like Morton Anderson, Butker. Like, he's good.
Yeah,
he's fine.
He's got the
He's
Super
above
Bowl.
average.
He's got the Super Bowl record. Like, he's better than fine. He's got to be if he was a bad kicker, I think we'd have issues with him. Yeah. But he's not. And that's what we care about. At the end of the day, is how you perform. And as long as you're out there performing, we rock with it. We good to go.
When you look at how this postseason has evolved, and we've had so many, especially in the Western Conference, it was so many like, oh yes, this team is absolutely. I mean, there was a brief moment in time where some Grizzlies fans, I won't speak for all, were in shambles thinking about a potential Timberwolves Western Conference Finals, where it was guaranteed that one of these other younger, and I struggle to call the Timberwolves young, but the Thunder certainly are. Yeah. But one of these teams who are in the same aura of the Grizzlies were going to reach the promised land of the NBA Finals before them, whether it be Anthony Edwards or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then suddenly the Thunder are out. Yeah. Suddenly the Timberwolves look like world beaters, taking down the vaunted defending champions in the Nuggets, and then they nearly get swept against the Dallas Mavericks. Is there anything you learned that changes your perspective of what the Grizzlies should do this offseason?
No, a lot of times you hear like teams need a big three. Like, you have to have your big three. Like, Dallas doesn't have a big. They have a two. and the two are really good, but like they don't really have that third. Who's their third guy? Like Derek Lively or Derek Jones Jr. Like Derek Jones Jr. is playing on the veteran minimum. The one thing I would say is like that Dallas and Boston, I guess to some extent, both have is like a lot of veterans in positions like we don't. The Grizzlies don't have an Al Horford. The Grizzlies don't have a Derek Jones Jr. Like that type of player who's been around for a decade. I mean, maybe like Luke Kennard is one of the older guys on this team. It was Steven Adams. He's gone. At this point, I'm just kind of rooting for Tillman to get a title, I think. I don't really otherwise.
Go X.
Yeah, like cheering for X. But the Grizzlies don't really have that veteran voice, I think, in the locker room, on the bench.
Marcus Smart was support,
Yeah.
I always feel, but I know it's a business and it's just the nature of it. But anytime a team is on the cusp of perhaps finally winning it all, if the Boston Celtics were to, and Marcus Smart got traded last season, it always just, I'm sure he's a pro about it and rooting for his old friends and his teammates to some degree. But there is some semblance of like, God bless, come on.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Grizzlies, I would just like to see them add one or two more kind of veteran role player guys, add a little durability in there. These guys who can give you 7 minutes a night, 10 minutes a night.
It's from the Mavs perspective, it's interesting because yes, you have the veteran component of it, but then how influential Derek Lively has been. Every time Derek Lively played this postseason, the Dallas Mavericks won. And getting him back last night was huge, and just giving you another, because you have him and Gafford, and it's the combo of the two. But Derek Lively is he's so active on both sides of the ball. He gives you another finisher, both Luka and Kyrie. He can be out there with both of them or one of them, and it really prevents any sort of a drop-off happening offensively. He's also a really good passer. He's a really good short passer on the inside and a good screen setter. And so then I think if you're the Grizzlies, you think to yourself, oh, could one of these bigs, could Donovan Clingan is the sexy name, who probably isn't going to be there at 9, but do you start having conversations about moving up? There are other teams in front of you. I think Oklahoma City learned that they would like to add some fortification to their front court too. I think these next couple of weeks are going to be so interesting.
I saw a friend of mine who covers the Pacers said like he thinks their top 3 needs should be rebounding.
Oh, sounds familiar.
Yeah, so I can see like there's a lot of these teams I think that the NBA has gone to this perimeter game and everybody wants to shoot threes and now it's sort of like all these teams are like, oh wait, we need someone who can go inside and get rebounds for us. And Dallas has kind of found like the perfect two-headed monster in Gafford and Lively because they can just swap them in and out the whole game basically, and you have that one guy in the paint who for 5 minutes can play really hard and just chase everything and then go rest, So I think Dallas kind of has it figured out, and now it's up to everyone else to kind of figure out how do we do this too. I mean, to some extent, Jokic plays that role for the Nuggets, and Aaron Gordon, kind of the two of them are the rebounders. And for the Grizzlies, Jaren's usually on the perimeter, so like we don't have that guy. And I don't know if it's Clingan. Like the one thing about Lively is if you ever noticed on those mic'd up segments, they have him mic'd, and he is so vocal on defense. Like he is like the quarterback. He's telling everyone where to go and what to do and how to get there, which is kind of crazy for a rookie.
Right.
And I don't know if Clingan can step right in and do that right away. But I think it's sort of instructive to a lot of teams to be like, hey, 3-point shooting, spreading the floor is fine, but you still got to have that guy inside.
When it was interesting, I mean, even thinking that the Timberwolves could have been a team to challenge the Mavs with rebounding, and they never really did. Like we knew who the Timberwolves were offensively.
The Timberwolves just have Gobert inside. That's it.
Exactly.
Like, the other guys aren't going in there.
And that's the problem. And like Jaden McDaniels suddenly was in the series against the Nuggets. It felt like very much gang rebounding, everybody going after it, crashing the glass, making sure that the Nuggets didn't get any of those second chance opportunities, especially. And then against the Mavs, they couldn't do it as well. And so it does highlight the emphasis and the need for that.
Did you see on the pregame show last night, Barkley was like, they asked like what his advice would be for the Timberwolves, and he was like, you just got to play hard. You got to play hard and not stop. And the camera cut to Karl Anthony Towns sleeping on the floor.
Not that.
Yeah, he goes, not
that. Do you give any credence to the argument that the Timberwolves weren't? I'm not even going to say it because I hate when people say they weren't even trying last night. Of course they were trying. They played a basketball game at their home arena. They were trying to extend and at least believe that they could perhaps be the first team to ever come back down 3-0.
I really think the Denver series just took it out of them. Like I think it took everything they had to beat Denver, and they did it, and you're like, oh man, we did it, we got over the hump, and then Dallas comes in and just like kind of blows the doors off.
Right.
And I really think they just didn't have anything left. I mean, we heard about Anthony Edwards, using oxygen on the bench at one of those games, not even at altitude anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like those guys just were wiped out after that. They played like it,
and that's why and they have vets, and that's the thing but they don't have vets who've made deep playoff runs. The deeper you get into the playoffs, the more important it is to have a handful of vets on the team who can say, hey, this is how you take care of your body. These are the things that you need to do. Having Mike Conley is great. And Mike Conley, I'm sure, was doing a lot of that, explaining that to them. Mike Conley is a tremendous leader for that team, and the way that, don't forget, their coach, their head coach, is hobbled and sitting in the second or third row, right? So having Mike Conley out there serving as a de facto coach, that is a huge piece of it. But I think they need somebody else, and everybody doesn't. We don't make a whole lot of them. Everybody doesn't have a ton of playoff experience on their resume, a ton of deep playoff experience on their resume. But once you get to this time of the year, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards the Celtics here, is about just as much about what you do on the court as what you're doing off the court to get your body ready to play.
It's also crazy that the Celtics and the Mavs are the two teams that have had the best record since February.
Yeah.
Like the Mavs kind of snuck up on everybody, but they've been the best team in the Western Conference since February, since the trade deadline, since post-All-Star break, when everything defensively, they really shored things up, changing the lineup. Watching how Jason Kidd has adjusted his rotations, I think has been fun to see. But we should have expected this, and yet many didn't.
I mean, I think that I figured the Celtics are going to be in the finals, but I thought Denver was the team that could just kind of flip the switch and be fine.
They did too.
And
I
and
think
then
they
they
did
couldn't.
too.
And then all of a sudden there's this vacuum, and Dallas stepped into it. I don't know. I kind of feel like Dallas is the hot team right now, like the way they've been playing and the way that they've been putting these teams away, and the way they kind of, like I said earlier, they just felt like they blew the doors off off of Minnesota. But I feel like Boston really hasn't been challenged in some of these games. Like they're kind of coasting. Like all those Pacers games, like they were losing in the fourth quarter, and then they would just be like, "All right, we're gonna just put this away in the last 3 minutes," and
Which,
they were
when you
able
look
to do
at
it.
Dallas as a clutch team,
Yeah.
is completely
they have Luka,
different
like, and
from
Kyrie,
what, right? And they've been the best clutch team in the NBA this season, and
Yeah.
so it provides an interesting heel going into that series because the Celtics haven't had to be. I mean, Jaylen Brown was the Eastern Conference MVP, and that's no knock to Jaylen Brown. He made huge shots. You could have made an argument for him, Tatum, Drew Holiday, even, but it's not as if there was this superhero-esque feel to a single game that they play.
I know, they all the way through.
The
Like
rounds,
it's crazy. It's like the whole way. So maybe the regular season prepares them for this. Maybe they're going to be okay when they get in the playoffs against Dallas. But I wonder if they're in a certain way, they have to flip the switch now. Like they have to play at a higher level than they played at, and maybe getting Porzingis back helps with that too. But
they get a whole week.
Yeah, both teams do. So everyone's gonna come into this thing pretty healthy and rested, and I don't know. It would be interesting to see what happens.
2 quick college football things for you. First of all, you were here last week filling in for me with the news that power conferences will now more than likely be paying their athletes $22 million starting in 2025. Still trying to work through the details and how it all works out. However, one piece that they're still trying to understand is brainstorming revenue streams for college football. And Ross Dellinger reported yesterday that they are considering allowing schools to put corporate sponsorships both on the fields and on the uniforms. Ads on the 25-yard line could be worth upwards of $1 million a year, and jersey patches would be $5 million a year. I don't want to go shakes fists at Cloud. I'm fine with ads on the field. We're used to it. But can we please keep and preserve the uniforms of college football?
It sounds like it's going to be like a soccer jersey with a huge logo in the center of it. We already have ads on jerseys in college. There's Nike swooshes on every jersey.
And that's enough. A Nike, you have the Adidas stripes,
and then on the
you
other
have
side,
Jumpman, you have Under Armour.
You know, like on one side you'll have a swoosh, on the other side you'll have a Buc-ee's logo. It'll be fine.
Want it. I don't want the beaver on my college football uniform.
So what about Oregon State? Oregon State has a beaver.
Can we not get deal?
Can we not get double beavers?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think Oregon has a Buc-ee's. So maybe if Oregon adds a Buc-ee's,
we're getting one.
That could be the gateway drug to me accepting
we're getting beavers?
What corporate ad would you accept on a USC jersey?
Trojans.
Trojans. That's the only one. But I want it on the field. If they don't put it on the field, what are we even doing here? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay.
You're telling me have some gall. Come on, be edgy, be cool for once. USC's taken some hits over the last couple of years, a decade.
Yeah.
If you came forward and said, we have partnered with Trojan to stop anything from getting in the end zone, protecting the end zone, you're telling me that wouldn't
Instead
be
of
the
red
greatest?
zone, the Trojan zone? Yeah.
It'd be so good.
I don't know.
Last but not least, reports that Netflix and the SEC are in on a deal for a Drive to Survive type show. Did you ever watch Drive to Survive, the F1 show?
I tried and I couldn't get into it.
Me too. I
Yeah.
wish that I could because I think I'd be more into Formula One,
Yeah.
which feels like a fun sport to follow, but I did not get into it. However, a college football version, and the early reports are that Georgia would be the first Drive to Survive, which maybe they should have a different name. But would you watch this for your Georgia
for sure.
Bulldogs?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a SEC sicko. I watch the SEC network now. Like I was watching the SEC network on Tuesday night. Like I watch it year
You're
round.
sick.
So I watch a lot of SEC programming. I watch all the spring games. I record them all and watch them and try to catch up on those. So yeah, I would definitely watch it.
Okay.
I would watch anything Georgia related. And like I was just thinking though, the one thing about the college ads on the field, I was thinking $1 million seems kind of low. Like you feel like you could get more than that if you put an ad on the field from a team. But like Georgia only has 5 home games this year. You know, like most college teams don't play that many home games.
That's
so
true.
maybe you don't get as much as an NFL team would get or an NBA team.
And that's where I was trying to figure out, would the jersey patch would be collective $5 million? Is
Probably.
that most likely?
Yeah. Because you would wear the jersey patch for every game, right?
Yeah.
So like you would, and if you're a team like Georgia who plays in the playoffs every year, you get more games, you get more eyeballs, all that stuff. I don't know. I wonder if like you would run into issues where like a player has a deal with some brand and he can't wear the logo on his thing.
I think there could be
like,
some complications.
Like the Dream Team and Jordan and the Reebok thing. Yeah.
My thing is, I know they're trying to find revenue streams. That's good. That's great. It's about damn time. However, there's this great revenue stream called the College Football Playoff that brings in a boatload of money that is not going into any of the money because they're taking from the basketball tournament, which if you took from both, feels like it could solve some problems.
Just make
anyway.
it a 64-team playoff.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
More
and
college football.
More rounds, more viewers,
Who says
more
no?
money.
Who
Yeah.
says no? Lang, thanks as always
man.
for joining us. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, huge matchup in the WNBA this weekend. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. We'll talk about that. Also, there was a wild music video dropped in the sporting community yesterday, and Darren Waller, we have to talk about it after a quick break.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. November 14th, FedEx Forum. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guests. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Produced by AEG Presents.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God,
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I'm so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
36.5 vertical. Watch your head.
Yeah, you said it was 44.
You sure I said that?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's all barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Marge Simpson?
Come on, Bennett. You'd hook up with Marge Simpson?
Yeah. You ever see the ones with her hair, when she lets her hair down?
You're attracted to Marge Simpson.
Marge is cute.
Cute?
Legacy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I respect her.
Yeah.
But she ain't Jessica Rabbit.
No, she's not Jessica Rabbit. She's not Jessica Rabbit. No.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. I feel like the ominous music could come because one of my absolutely terrible picks from the last week was that I said the Indiana Fever would cover against the Seattle Storm last night. It was a 4.5-point spread, and the Storm beat the Fever by 25 points. So that did not happen. However,
can I ask why you thought that was the case? The Seattle Storm are this super team, and they need all the wins they can get right now because they've got a hell of a 10-game stretch here around the corner where they're playing Sun, Aces, Liberty like all the time.
They had won 3 in a row.
Yes.
Caitlin Clark was coming off of her first 30-point game.
Who had won 3 in a row? The Fever?
No, the Fever have 1 win.
Okay.
The Storm had won 3 in a row.
Correct.
I felt as if this might be an overlook game for the Seattle Storm, which it was not, because no one overlooks. Everyone brings their best efforts against Caitlin Clark right now, and defensively, the Fever aren't going to win a game until they learn how to play defense. Let's be clear. That was the most points the Storm have scored all season, 103.
It's our fault people refuse to look over the Fever because they're like, oh, everybody's here to watch us play them, and they all think that they're going to get the win.
It is their spotlight moment. You will see that I have amended my ways. Lessons have been learned, and the Fever play the Chicago Sky tomorrow. The Sky are 4.5-point favorites, 3.5-point favorites, and one of my picks of the weekend is
the
Chicago
that?
Sky in Chicago.
Okay,
it's in Chicago.
The Sky just got their first home win of the season.
Yes, it is in Chicago. I believe it's at. Where is it?
Did they move it?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's in Indianapolis. The first one's in Indianapolis. I thought their first was in Chicago for some reason. So it's at Gainbridge.
Okay. So maybe that's it. The Fever, like you said, they've got some defensive things to figure out. And that comes, they're so much younger than everybody else. They're so much younger. And so, listen, I talk about it. We talk about it. Everybody talks about it in dude sports where, hey, this player is young. He doesn't have his grown man body yet. Right there, those women are young. They're not physically there just yet to compete with bigger, more physical, more vet-savvy teams like a Sun, a Liberty, a Aces, a Storm, or whomever. I don't know when the Fever get their first win.
They have their first win. They have a win.
They got
their second win.
Their second win.
I think this team is not built to win a ton of games. And that's normal for a team that has had the number 1 pick in the draft 2 years in a row. I do think that Caitlin Clark already is showing growth within a season, which is what you want to see. You're seeing that from a number of rookies, whether it be Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, who last night, first game Angel Reese hasn't scored in double figures. She scored in double figures in her first 5 games in the league, which is impressive. Cameron Brink has been really great. We still haven't seen Camila Cardoso, which is a bummer that I don't think she'll be available for Saturday's game. She's still a while back from joining the Chicago Sky coming off her injury. But when it comes to Caitlin Clark, there was a moment in last night's game that got me so excited for Fever Sky this weekend. And it was Caitlin Clark hitting a 30-footer. And after she makes it, there's a little bit of contact and a bit of a moment from Victoria Vivians. And as Caitlin Clark is walking back, you see spicy Caitlin Clark. This is the Caitlin Clark that we became accustomed to in college basketball. Are you kidding me? She's a little ish talker. Caitlin Clark talks hella ish.
Okay. That's
what popped off between her and Angel Reese.
It was that one. You're right. It was that tournament run.
And
I forgot.
that's who she is. Like she's an instigator.
Okay.
And when she continues to grow through this growth period, and listen, they're appropriately every player is bringing their all and playing very physical against Caitlin Clark. Which I'm sorry for people who say, "Oh, they're playing." What do you expect? What do you expect? Other players are going to do. It's a competition. It's sports. So that's no duh. But to see Caitlin Clark have that little bit of spice going into this weekend where it is the first professional matchup between her and Angel Reese, and this isn't a national championship game, and this isn't the Albany regional final, although I do think it would be very fun if Lisa Bluter and Kim Mulkey were at the game this weekend. They don't have to sit next to each other. That might be too much. But if they could just be in the presence, because it would bring forth the ultimate reminder of like these two and the back and forth between the two of them made each other better through their college times and have made them two of the premier rookies in the WNBA this season, and they face off for the first time. And Caitlin Clark, even though the Indiana Fever lost another game, she had 20 points last night. That's her first professional stretch of 20-plus point games in back-to-back games. She became the first player in league history with 150 points, 50 assists, and 10 blocks through a team's first 10 games of the season, as well as the first rookie with 50 points and 15 assists in a 2-game span. She also has more turnovers in her first 9 games than any other rookie in league history with 51. So the turnovers are still an issue, but you're starting to see some of those offensive stats pick up. And Angel Reese has been a contributor for the Chicago Sky. Like, neither of these players are rookies who have the ability to just cruise their way and take their time. They're both needed.
You can't do that in the W.
No.
As a rookie, like, if you're not contributing,
you're cut. Look what happened to Deja Fair in Las Vegas this week.
And that's where she on the NCAA all-time scorers list, right? Like, love you, great game, but like you're not good enough for this. If they have more teams, Deja Fair is absolutely rostered and contributing. I was thinking about this. I don't know if we've talked about it, but if the WNBA had 16 to 20 teams, and you just keep the rosters the same on the teams that exist, 4, maybe 5 of these teams will be considered super teams. Like, that's how loaded all of these teams are from a talent standpoint. So loaded that a player as good as Fair, like, gets cut. Unfortunately, I hope that she finds a way back into the league because she was fun to watch in college. I think she'll be fun to watch in the W. The back and forth between Reese and Clark in 2 tournaments ago, I think that it made them more interesting. It made them more intriguing, and it fed the flame, or started the flame, stoked the flame that led to the interest in women's basketball being what it is right now. Seeing them face off for the first time in the pros is great. It's going to be fun to watch. This feels we're doing the bird magic thing. We're doing the really wholesome white person thing versus the really urban hood black person thing, and I'm fine. Whatever. If that's what drives viewership, that's what does.
Even if the shoes don't fit.
Not at all. At all. Not at all. Caitlin Clark. Eventually, these rookies, Brink, Reese, Clark, all of them are going to have to look at these vets and say, okay, catch this bow to the throat. Like, it's my time. Too many times, I think that, I'm glad to see her be a bit more feisty. Too many times, the veterans, and this is what vets do, they try and punk you out of what it is you want to do. They try and bully you out of it. It happens across sports. And eventually, you as the younger player have to say, okay, no, enough of this. You can't be grabbing me by the neck and choke slamming me like Thomas did Angel Reese a couple games back. Like, we can't be doing that. And when that happens, oh boy, this league is going to pop. It is going to be so much fun because it is literally a changing of a guard, and the old guard does not go down willingly. They go down with a bit of a fight. And it looks like the old guard in the WNBA, you're as great as you are, you're playing against me now. We're not just going to bow out and let you have it just because you are one of the greatest college basketball players of all time. You grabbed the blue one. You ate that with confidence.
It's toothpaste.
Yeah.
So fresh and so clean.
I've had.
Ooh, that's crispy toothpaste.
Oh. Have you had a habanero?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
It's terrible.
I'm saving those 2 for a while.
I've had 2 bandages. I don't think you've had any bandages yet.
No, thank God. And I don't have the opportunity to have a bandage today.
Oh, that's awful.
But you mentioned like even just seeing Caitlin Clark finally snap a bit, even
stand up for yourself.
Sure, even her coach did it yesterday. Like Christy Sides finally was going after the officials after yet another time that Caitlin Clark just got plowed on a drive, and it's going to continue to build. And I think she talked about it in her post-game conference too, just from a standpoint of, from the coach's standpoint, we're trying to figure out how to win games. Caitlin's getting beat up. She's learning how to I get knocked down and I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. That's what Caitlin Clark is doing at this moment. But you're right. There will be a day where the flip switches.
And we're talking about Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark is the face of this young class. This shift between, because think about how long Sue Bird played, Nana Taurasi played, Candace Parker played. Think about players like Skylar Diggins, how long they've been in the league, right? There's a massive shift that is about to come to the WNBA where it's going to get a whole lot younger, and it will be one of them. I'm not sure which one of these rookies it'll be or which one of these younger players it'll be, but one of them is absolutely going to tee off on a vet, and it's going to be because, hey, I'm young, I'm not weak. We're not finna sit up here and do this. And I look forward to seeing
I think it'll be Caitlin Clark. Only because she's taking the heftiest version of it. Well, to be fair, there have been more Fever games on my television than any other team. So I am simply looking at the voices that I have followed for a long time who cover the WNBA and understanding what they're saying.
All of them are catching that.
Yeah.
They're rookies. Again, this is not a situation that is unique to the W at all.
No, there's just a spotlight on the W that hasn't been on it.
And there's a spotlight on Clark. And so with the spotlight being there, yes, you can absolutely see Caitlin Clark, not saying that she's not getting pummeled, because she absolutely is, right? But so is Reese, so is Brink. Like, these women are hacking like, oh, okay, you down here. Just the foul on Reese was just, stop all that damn movement. I'm trying to box you out and you're jumping over me. No, choke slam to the ground, right? Like, that's been, and it's been multiple times those types of hard tone-setting fouls are used and early on in this season in the W, and it's being used on the rookies. The vets aren't doing that to one another, right?
No.
Like, nobody's grabbed Jonquel Jones and hurled her, or grabbed Brianna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu and thrown them to the ground.
It's different.
It's just the rookies.
Aaliyah Boston, people were like, oh.
What is Aaliyah doing? That's the thing I didn't like. I didn't like Aaliyah
telling her to stop?
Yeah, no.
Caitlin can't get tossed. They ended up throwing double tags, but like.
You step in. And
Aaliyah
now
Boston's not.
Well, if Aaliyah Boston isn't, somebody out there has got to be. Somebody has got to be the Charles Oakley.
They'll have to get someone on the Fever to be that.
Somebody, like Jordan's taking all these ass whoopings, and the Bulls say, hey, you know what? We just need somebody to make this stop. The refs aren't going to do it. Who can we get? Charles Oakley is available. Yeah. Great. Oak. If somebody hits Mike, you hit them, right? And that's what is needed. And when they find an Oakley, I look forward to watching that player play with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. It's going to be good stuff.
Me too. All right, some WNBA adjacent news. Darren Waller, New York Giants tight end, formerly Las Vegas Raiders tight end, and when he was in Las Vegas is when he met Kelsey Plum, WNBA star and member of the Las Vegas Aces. They met while they were both living in Las Vegas. They got married. They were a sports couple. And then a couple months back, they announced that they were getting a divorce. And at the time, Kelsey Plum posted on her Instagram that she would share her story someday. Haven't heard anything from her. We have now heard from Darren Waller via song, and not just via song and music video, because yesterday Darren Waller released Who Knew, her perspective, and it included these scenes at the end where a Kelsey Plum lookalike stabs him in the back and he fakes his death falling onto the sand with the water rushing onto his face. Does Darren Waller have any friends? Answer me this.
That's not anything fun to do at a beach. I wouldn't like to get stabbed in the back at a beach.
Stabbed on the back did not make our beach draft. Was there nobody in this man's life who took him by the hand and said, Darren, keep it in your journal? We talked about journals this week. Keep it in your journal. This is great. Even if you want to go through the process of making the music video, maybe that helps heal you in some ways. Just please don't release it. Not one person. Where are your friends? Where are your friends to tell you
stop? What's wrong with the music video?
He's very Crimea River-esque, only he is not Justin
he's
Timberlake.
not good.
He's Darren Waller. And I know this man has gone through so much. His story is incredibly inspiring from his past with addiction and everything that he's overcome. But oh my goodness, if you're going to release a breakup song and breakup music video, it at least has to be good. And frankly, this was not. This was not.
Okay. I'm sorry. I think that we should allow that man to feel his feelings. You can
feel your feelings without that.
I'm big into allowing dudes to express their sensitive side and their emotions.
Oh yes, you are often on that
huge
side.
into it. So
He said that on February 3rd, I felt a strong conviction to do something different. I'd never written a song from the perspective of someone else until this. There's something extremely valuable and quite humbling, LOL, about putting yourself in the shoes of those you have been intimate with and taking an honest look at yourself. The only result possible is growth. I don't understand how putting yourself in the shoes of those you've been intimate with and trying to learn from that leads to the music video with the lookalike of being stabbed in the back.
So maybe he put himself in her shoes, right? So if he's putting himself in the shoes of somebody you've been intimate with, and he's the one getting stabbed in the back
You're
by
saying
the Kelsey
he stabbed her in the back?
Maybe that's what it is.
You're saying this is a reverse metaphor?
So maybe we need to re-listen to it because he might be
I have
telling
the
on
lyrics.
himself. He
I
might
have the
be telling on
lyrics.
himself.
Take your time and heal. Just take a time out and feel. The nights we opened up and we knew how much that you and I were real. How long I gotta climb up this hill. I'm tired and I wanna be still. Imagine if we fell out of tune. 'Cause F, who knew that love could kill? If you take your time, you'll feel the weight fall off. F what your plans are, go ahead and call off. You tired of your day job? We can go down that dirt road. Like some kids, we can go play. You laughing your face off. Slide right down the highway, we can take off. Why you want to run away? Why can't you just stay? Take your time and heal. Just take a time out and feel.
Yeah, I'm done. I didn't do it near as bad as you.
Not good.
Okay.
Is there like a tangerine one?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
That's tasty.
But yeah, I think that Darren Waller is telling on himself there.
Listen.
I think this isn't a breakup as much as it is an apology. I think he wants to apologize to Kelsey Plum, and here you are, and here you guys are at home making fun of this man for embracing his softer side. That's why toxic masculinity has to still exist. That's why Jerry Seinfeld likes men, masculine men. That's why, because if we show any type of vulnerability, then you guys get on to us about it and make fun of us and shame us for it.
If you had wrote it as a poem.
Darren, I support you, Darren. Keep making these music videos, baby.
We didn't need the production. We didn't need the production with the Kelsey Plum lookalike. You could have written a poem. You could have even written a song.
What's it? He did write a song.
Wait, again, you can do all of this. You just don't have to put it out into the universe.
He's trying to change the narrative
on what it is
to be a football
player. After a
player.
breakup, I wrote true story. I wrote a song following a breakup in high school. I wrote it. I was so excited about it. I was going to try to write something on the piano to go along with the lyrics, but I went full lyrics first. And I took that song to my mother, and I sang it for her. And she said, Jesse, I'm so proud of you for getting your feelings out like this. This is the kind of thing that is really healthy for you to do. I think it should just be for you. I think this is something that should just be, for you on the inside. And that song never saw the light of day. And 10 years later, I looked at the lyrics of those songs and oh my God, I would have been embarrassed as ever. Thank God TikTok didn't exist. Thank God Instagram Reels didn't exist. Thank God Vine didn't exist. I would have been a laughingstock. Sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand and take a step back and understand that you can go through personal artistic journeys based on trauma and pain that you survived. And it just doesn't have to be made into a song.
I find this take really surprising coming from you.
Interesting.
I would think that you'd want that guy, that person who's really so in touch with his feelings that he's willing to share them publicly. I would think that you'd want him on the Bears to play on that what's the generation behind us? Gen Z team?
I love the Chicago Bears.
Like you'd want him to be with Caleb Williams
and
the rest
the
of
Yas
those.
Queens.
Yeah. And change the way we view masculinity. That's what I would think from you.
This to me I don't think it's fair to wrap this up into how we view masculinity.
A dude expressing his emotions and saying, you know what,
a dude who used
wrong, I'm sorry.
We gave Justin Timberlake all sorts of hell when he used the Britney Spears lookalike in Cry Me a River.
Y'all gave Justin Timberlake all types of hell.
So maybe I am triggered. Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe I'm triggered
Now we're
looking
talking
at
like
the
those
old
weirdos
Cry
in
Me a
Gen
River
Z.
music video and now understanding how that relationship and having read Britney Spears' memoir, but also just in real time understanding like how messed up that was, and looking at this and like here, Kelsey Plum said, I'll share my story in his own time. And I'm not saying Darren Waller can't share his story. He absolutely can. But just don't have stab in the back. There was blood.
At the beach,
At the beach.
Come on, beaches.
Let's go get away.
Let's go.
Nikki said it to Starships,
Did
not. That's murder. Murder.
That was the
Are you
case that
calling
they gave
Kelsey Plum a
somebody.
murderer? We'll take a quick. No, I have two, and they're both the spicy ones. We'll take a quick break. I really don't want to do this.
You have to. If you can't handle the spicy
gross.
jelly beans,
They're so
they're
gross.
terrible tasting. I realize I've eaten 2 Band-Aids and it's been awful. But if you can't handle the spicy jelly beans, how are we going to progress to like the nuclear wings? Can you imagine, by the way, if you had to eat 8 nuclear wings because you
I want to do
failed?
it. I still want to do it.
Okay, you can do it. Eat the daggone
I like
jelly
wing.
beans.
It's the consistency of a wing. There's something.
Okay.
The jelly gets stuck in your teeth.
Yeah.
It hangs around.
Yeah,
You know.
and the wing will be so hot, your whole face will burn. I'm over here like got so much saliva. Eat the jelly bean, Jessica. Stop playing with your food. We gotta take a break.
We're gonna talk Music Friday when
Well,
we come
bite
back.
it,
More
chew
Meg
it.
and Stallion.
We got to get you on camera.
Eminem has a new song.
Yeah.
Paris Hilton is dropping a new album.
Yeah. Go ahead and chew.
We'll be right back.
There's a lot of stuff. Your mic is still hot.
I hate these. They're so gross.
Don't go to break. Can you come back?
Oh my god. Oh my god, my mouth.
Come back.
So nasty. It's so hot.
All right, we can go to break, Jacob. Why are you fanning your mouth? That doesn't make it better.
It does in my mind.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by April 30th. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
If you look at it, as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
36 and a half vertical? Watch your head.
Yeah, you said it was 44.
Well, you sure I said it?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's
sauce.
called barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Grizz Girls are no ordinary dance team. They're known across the NBA for setting the standard for world-class dance and entertainment. From hip-hop to jazz, the Grizz Girls do it all. And they're looking for talented dancers with dynamic personalities to join the team. Do you have what it takes to join a premier NBA dance team and entertain Grizz Nation both on the court and in the community? Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information and show us what you've got at open auditions Saturday, July 13th.
Are you going? Welcome back, Jessica Benson Show.
The water
Jessica, are
doesn't
you
help.
okay? No, it doesn't.
It makes it worse.
It doesn't.
It like sloshes it around in your mouth.
Yeah, and the issue is with the jelly beans. You pointed this out. They get stuck in your teeth, and you have to get them out. And in the process of getting them out, the flavor comes back and assaults you in the worst way possible.
Assault is the perfect word. As we get into Music Friday, for those who are unaware, we have a new Tiny Desk coming out tonight. Or not tonight, today, this afternoon, I believe. It's Sean Paul. If I was making a list of my favorite 100 songs of all time, Temperature would 100% be on that list, I believe. I'm excited for a Sean Paul Tiny Desk.
Yeah, Sean Paul, you know, I don't do a whole lot of winding, but you have to wind to reggae, and Sean Paul makes me wind. And winding is a good way to get up on some cheeks.
Absolutely.
Like I enjoy that.
I always think of Get Busy with Dance Dance Revolution. A classic.
Get Busy is such a good song. Get Busy. And you just start to wind. Just get into it. Yep. Good song.
Anyway, I'm actually excited for a little Sean Paul Tiny Desk concert later. Woke up to listen to the new Eminem that dropped in the year 2024. It is called Houdini. It is not the Dua Lipa song Houdini. It is Eminem's Houdini. And I was pleasantly surprised that it came with a very fun music video full of nostalgia. This whole song samples Without Me over and over again. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. But he goes back to 2002. The song and the music video starts with a call from Dr. Dre, a la what the original Without Me did, and you get cameos from 50 was in it, Pete Davidson was in it. I feel like there was someone else in it that I can't think of off the top of my head. But he's like back in the Robin costume and going back to the MTV Music Video Awards. And I actually enjoyed the song. I thought it would kind of be a waste of a song. I added it to my 2024 songs that I will be revisiting from this year playlist. So that is the new Eminem. He's been teasing a new album. We don't know if and when that's coming. But also one of my favorite things about like this iteration of Eminem is he's included his daughter in everything. I think Haley, right? And I just think that's a cool dad move. Like she's been involved in the marketing for it. She's always by his side, and I think it's very, very sweet. So I know some people are anti-Eminem, but that song, throw Guess Who's Back again and have that come out of a speaker, and I'm like, oh, he's back. Did you listen to it?
No.
Will you listen to it?
I might.
Maybe.
I'll listen to it.
Oh, there's also a Meg verse on it.
Okay.
I was like, Eminem is so back.
Then I'll definitely listen to it.
Hold on, let me get the lyric. I don't want to misrepresent.
If Meg is on there, I will absolutely listen to it. But if not, I'll find it.
No, I'm sorry. Meg is not on it. He has a verse about Meg.
Then no, I probably won't.
It was very much Eminem is back.
Okay.
He said, if I was to ask for Megan the Stallion if she would collab with me, would I really have a shot at a feat? I don't know, but I'm glad to be back like abracadabra.
Okay.
Look who's back.
All right. Well, there we go.
I still think of the beef with Mariah Carey. What a time that was.
And a weird beef.
So weird.
Some weird stuff came out in that beef. Some weird stuff came out in that beef. Learned a whole lot about both of them. Some premature stuff going on one end, and some just, okay, why are you being so weird about this on the other end? Some good stuff.
They don't call him shady for nothing.
All right.
What are you listening to?
I listened to the new Childish Gambino, Atta Vista, and I loved every bit of Atta Vista. The first song was great. I thought that the last song, Final Church, I think is what it's called. I think that was a great way to end a career. Why are you not chewing? Chew it up, Jessica.
About it.
It's your idea. I thought that was a great way to end the career from Gambino. He's saying, hey, this is it for me. Like he announced 2 albums. One is a soundtrack, and I think this is just his own album. And I think that the way that song ends is incredible. I don't know what genre this is. We've talked about it before. And not only do I not know what genre this album is, there are you okay? There are moments in the same song where he switches genres so quickly. Like one, and not even same song, same verse, the genre switches. And it all fits in this really cool, creative, beautiful way. The song that's out now, Bigfoot, Littlefoot, is, we don't realize upon initial listen, if you're not listening closely, you might not realize that it's about drug dealing and what happens when two people get caught, and this one has a couple of charges already on file and this one doesn't, and how do we convince the Littlefoot to take the charge and take the fall so that we don't do more time or that person doesn't do more time. 21 Savage's verse on that one is really, really good. Ariana Grande is on a track, and I thought that's the first time I've heard an Ariana Grande song in a really long time. I was like, oh no, I like that. I like that a lot.
Did you listen to her album that came out this year?
I listened to enough of it. I don't think I made it through it.
I really enjoyed her album that came out this year.
But listen, again,
Understand.
she's not making music for me, and I'm fine with that. But on that track, that felt like something, and it was something that I really thoroughly enjoyed. At times I can get frustrated. I think everybody gets frustrated with the Grammys, with how they categorize stuff. I do not envy them with this album, because you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are
It'll
you
get
putting
thrown
it?
into
It'll be rap or R&B,
hip-hop, R&B,
but it's not. It's not. And I think that when that becomes the case, when this is something that is just truly like an American music style, that's rock and roll. I think it's I would categorize it as a rock and roll album. On Bigfoot, Littlefoot, I thought it was really interesting. Not just, and the music video helped me see this. That all drug dealing is you moving bricks. And he shouted out OJ the Juice Man. I had forgotten about OJ the Juice Man. But so if you're selling these drugs now, the cocaine or what have you, it's the exact same thing as bootlegging was back in the way back during Prohibition. And so Bigfoot, Littlefoot has that sort of Prohibition style sound to it, if that makes sense. Like, it is very much, you would hear that. It feels like you would hear that in a juke joint in one of these little hole in the walls, in a little speakeasy in the 40s or the 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
I'd say like 20s, 30s.
20s, 30s even. So I thought that was really enjoyable. And again, it's just weird enough to be unique, but not so weird to be a turnoff. It's just blues enough to hold your attention, but not so bluesy that you kind of want to skip through it. Just R&B enough to make you feel nostalgic, but not so R&B that is like, okay, we've heard this before. It's a truly unique sounding album, and I've enjoyed it all 4 or 5 times I've listened to it.
I am officially putting Donald Glover on my EGOT watch list. He only has a Grammy, but I thought he was so good in that Mr. and Mrs. Smith show that I think it's a matter of time before. Has he done a movie?
Yeah. He's Lando, I do believe, young Lando Calrissian in Star Wars, isn't he?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying that name right. Sorry.
But because of what he is like musically, I think he can work or could find himself into that Broadway space as well. And he's like a capital A artist. And I think he's really exciting. And people in the chat said he does have one more album coming. This was not the last.
Isn't that album a soundtrack?
I don't know. Is it?
So there are 2 albums.
Okay.
This one was like a remastered album. And then the next one I thought was a soundtrack. Like he's doing a soundtrack for a movie.
Oh, you already have me now stressed about the Grammys this year. Not stressed. I don't let those people provide any sense of actual stress in my stomach, but it's been a really strong year for albums, and I swear to God, if the tortured poets, I'm not saying it out loud, I don't want those people to be mad at me.
But if Taylor Swift wins Best Album of the Year,
it's a travesty. There are countless better albums.
Countless?
Yes.
Okay.
Countless.
Can you name?
Well, my favorite albums of the year thus far I obviously still stand for Cowboy Carter, and I will ride that. Waxahachie's album was remarkable. Rosalie's album, Bite Down, was one of my favorite of the year. I actually really liked Maggie Rogers' third album. I thought her second album really missed the mark. She's bounced back well. The Ariana album's great. I think Childish Gambino's album is great.
And so those are all albums you would put
above
Dead
yes.
Poet or
yes.
Is it
Tortured?
Okay.
Should have been Dead Poet
Dead
Society.
Poet Society, Tortured Poet.
I might have liked it better. Okay. I might have enjoyed it better. Anyway, as Alex in the chat said, the Grammys mean nothing. We did find out we're getting maybe a potential Grammy nominee in September. Paris Hilton, the songstress of our generation, announced that she is releasing her second album later this year. I am genuinely excited about this because Paris Hilton granted us a song that remains one of my favorites, that hits me with the perfect dose of nostalgia. Stars Are Blind. Even though the stars are crazy, even though the stars are blind. That was her first album, on her first album. She hasn't released an album since. It's been 20 years. She's had a couple of singles along the way. She also serves as a DJ, DJ Paris, if you didn't know, now you know. And now she's having her second album come out, and it is going to be called Infinite Icon. And I feel that this is a big surge of a year for Paris Hilton, because we also learned that there is going to be a new show with her and Nicole Richie on Peacock, a new reality show. They said it is not an exact reboot of The Simple Life. However, they will both be on it. They will be reuniting. So we get new Paris Hilton music, get a new Paris Hilton reality television show, and this will be the year. We have the Paris Olympics. It's the year of Paris. Do you know that song? Or is this very much a...
No, this is a two Americas. One America rocked with them. She and Nicole Richie, and another America was like, what are we doing? I'll be glad when this trend goes away and we stop just pitting non-talented rich people on TV. And it was just the start of it. It was just the beginning. Had I known then, I would have appreciated it a whole lot less. I would have despised it way more.
One other album that came out today that I'm just curious about, Shaboozey's new album came out. I did not know who Shaboozey was until he was on Cowboy Carter on Sweet Honey Buckin'. Yeah. But he's a rising country star, and he has that song that's become like a TikTok earworm of da-da-da-da-da, another shot of whiskey. I like that song. I still am not considering myself a country music fan, but my new favorite subgenre of country music is country music that really pisses off like traditionalists of country music, and Shaboozey seems to fit in that space as well. I wonder why. But he had one of the singles from the album that I listened to this morning. It is a song with Noah Cyrus called My Fault, and it was lovely. So investigating there, Odessa, who was here at Riverbeat, they released The Last Goodbye. So the set that they played here in Memphis, you can now listen to that album if you're into that. And yeah, that's the music that's up. What are you going to do this weekend? Wait, was there something else booty related from Meg that you wanted to talk about before we wrap?
I think so. I can't remember. We were in the flow of the conversation.
That's why we don't ruin the flow.
It wasn't booty related, because I see Megan Thee Stallion, I see GloRilla, and I'm like, oh, those are nice young ladies, right? Like I'm at that age for some reason, because I'm an old cantankerous man, right? It's like, oh, and they're having so much fun up there on stage. Also, that was something else that came through. They've got to be doing all types of leg exercises or some type of yoga or something like that, because you cannot just get up and say, all right, time to go to work. Let's drop it for an hour and a half, 2 hours straight. She's got Mike Piazza knees, right? Like, who's a really good catcher? That's the type of knees she has. She is in that position way too much for somebody of my age. But she can do it. She's down there. And not only can she do it, all of the dancers can do it. And speaking of the dancers, I love the way that GloRilla has incorporated juking into her set. Like, that is something that is uniquely Memphis, and just stop and think about that part of the Memphis culture going around major cities with that going on and that happening on the stage with GloRilla. Like, that's be in Houston, Miami, Atlanta, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And just have that part of the Memphis culture being spread, and anything that spreads Memphis culture in a really positive way, I'm a big fan of. So big fan of Glo, big fan of Megan Thee Stallion. They put on a really, really fun, incredible show. And if you don't believe me, ask one of the thousands of women that were there. I'm curious to know what the number was, because it felt over 20-ish to me for the people.
It's been a 3-day in a row, because it was Lionel Richie on Wednesday, it was Meg and Glo last night, and then tonight it's Nate Bargatze, the comedian. What are we going to do without our commercials? What are we going to do?
Maybe we'll get a Hall of Famer. Maybe. I would assume the Justin Timberlake commercial would still run.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That one's a long way in the distance.
Yeah. I don't think it's a Hall of Famer yet, but
no, it's not.
We'll see.
Much like, yeah. Good news. I remembered that Meg the Stallion shared her leg workout once upon a time on Instagram. So for those who would like to embrace your inner Meg the Stallion, starting no time like the present, starting this week, she begins the workout with single leg supported deadlifts while holding a kettlebell to fire up the hammies.
Okay.
Then she moves on to single leg hip thrusts on an incline.
I can't do hip thrusts.
I can't do them on an incline.
Okay.
After, she squats down slowly with her heels elevated on a weight.
Okay.
Then
Is that
she
weighted?
holds
Is
the
that
squat.
that's body weight?
I believe so.
Okay.
She holds the squat for 5 seconds before dropping all the way down and then coming back up.
Okay.
I know you see that MFer muscle in my thighs popping and percolating, she said in the voiceover. And the next move, standing on 2 blocks, so she's slightly elevated while she does more squats. This time she's holding a dumbbell for a set of 12.
Right here. Okay.
This exercise helps build the muscles of the back of her butt, she says. Finally, she finishes this epic set with some hip dip planks, which target the core and the obliques. She doesn't share a ton about her diet, but she shared a photo of salmon, sweet potatoes, kale, avocado, and tomatoes that she ate after her workout. Yum. I would go to Hottie Boot Camp.
No, there's no way I
Sign me up.
I wouldn't survive.
I'm so tired of these boring workouts. Get me Hottie Boot Camp.
My quads just now recovered, and I did something on Monday. I'm not.
You inspired me to do a leg workout, and I regretted it.
Yeah, immediately. So hats off to you. If you dance with Megan, if you are Megan, if you dance with Glo, if you are Glo, hats off to you because you got to have that lower body in shape. I can't do it.
All right, everybody. I hope you have a magical weekend. We will be back with you on Monday. We'll see you then. Lyrics of the day. I'm not going to forget 2 days in a row. I'm making this a thing.
You are forgetting to do picks, though. You made us do picks today, and you've forgotten already.
Okay, what are your picks, CJ?
I don't know. I've
What are your
forgotten them
picks?
also.
Pick your picks.
What are my picks? I got the Roughnecks and the Showboats over the 44.5. This is the battle for the worst. Whoever loses this is the worst team in the UFL. There are a couple of good UFL matchups.
It's not the Showboats.
But it's not this one. Brahmas, who just beat the Stallions, giving them their first loss in about a year. They're taking on the Battlehawks. Winner of that will be the 1 seed in that division. And then you've got the Stallions taking on, who are the Stallions playing? I think the Defenders. I can't remember.
Okay.
No, they're playing Michigan. They're playing the Panthers. The winner of that will be the 1 seed in their division. But back to the terrible game. 6 of the last 7 games the Showboats have played, they've gone over 44.5. The Showboats are 6-3 on the over in 9 games this season.
They would love that record.
They're just terrible. People are going to score a bunch of points on them, and I would assume the Roughnecks are no different, although those 2 teams are combined 2-16. But give me the over in that game. Tony Cruz, anytime goal. Jacob, this is his last game, and so they're playing in the championship. It is Madrid versus Dortmund. Championship game, I think UEFA championship final. He gets a goal. He goes out a winner as well. Madrid is going to throttle him, so don't worry about that. And then I will take the Battlehawks minus the 2.5 against the Brahmas. That game is on Saturday. It's in St. Louis. St. Louis loves them some Battlehawks. That'll be a raucous environment. Give me the A.J. McCarron in the Battlehawks.
All right, my picks, as I said earlier in the show, give me the Sky 3.5-point favorites over the Indiana Fever in the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese matchup of the weekend. That game is on Saturday. Also, the College Softball World Series is going on, and we have 2 games tonight, one of them being Stanford, Oklahoma State. Stanford is the 8 seed, Oklahoma State is the 5 seed. You know I'm going to ride or die for the Pac-12 one last time before Stanford goes off in the league. That makes perfect sense for them. The ACC, it is an elimination game, so winner will advance into the semifinals for the College Softball World Series. And then my lock, I've really struggled picking hockey picks. I don't know why I think that's going to change, but I really like this Edmonton Oilers team, and they have a Game 5 tonight against the Stars. It is in Dallas, but I think Edmonton gets the win on the road and goes up 3-2.
Even though I don't think they've won on the road in this series?
No, they haven't, so it's the do factor.
All right, turn up.
The home team has won every game until tonight. Last but not least, if you text me anything hype, you better text back and say, it's a typo. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week.
That sounds like some nonsense Kanye would say.
Doesn't it? Well, wait till I read what the lyric before it is. It can't be my lyrics of the weekend.